Boom. Hey, everybody. Let's start the show. Welcome back to the pod. So I know it's been a long time, so we're gonna give you a good episode, everybody. Maybe not. Why are you laughing?
You have any tokens for the machine down the street?
Welcome to the YRU Laughing podcast.
Oh, excuse me. Just busy dying over here in Keene. Let's start from the beginning. I think it's probably fair to say that it's been a while since I've done one of these, and I apologize. We're trying to make something happen over here, but it's obviously slow going since we haven't done it in a little while. So it's a little bit harder to explain myself because I feel bad about not being around, but hopefully you guys understand. Or you will understand by the time this episode is finished. Got kind of a new setup over here, kind of not. I left my little microphone holder in the car from my last journey because I thought we were going to be able to do a pod on the road because I was on the road, and that didn't end up happening because I think we were too focused on driving carefully and very precisive. So this episode, we are going to explain that as well. Hasn't been lost on me that things are different, especially with recent events happening to me. In case anyone was wondering, stuff hasn't kind of been going my way. As far as my, I hate saying it this way, but as far as my love life goes, I didn't get the answer I wanted when it came to a certain someone, which, you know, a lot of people would think that is, you know, crucial to my self-sustaining behavior, but it's not. I've been alone for some time now, so it's easier for me to sort of, not at first, but it's easier for me to sort of deal with the pain quicker, because you can only get disappointed so many times before you realize that, hey, it's whatever. Life is not going to move the way you want it to all the time. You're going to be disappointed, and I think you need those disappointments because that's how we keep striving as people. And I had a really hard time in October with that sort of situation, to the point where I didn't feel like doing the podcast. I didn't feel like playing music. I didn't feel like living. And those thoughts and feelings are hard to deal with, and it's hard to process and put into words and put the pieces back together the way you want them to be. So I'm hoping I can kind of explain that also in this episode. My busy season is here. So, I mean, if I sound a little tired and groggy, that's probably why. It's because we're back to, 2 o'clock in the morning, 1:30 in the morning. The longest day so far was last Wednesday, where I went into UPS at 1:30 in the morning. Worked through till 9:30, like, whenever it was that we got done. And then my second half of the day started shortly after. So I literally went home, showered, changed after 9:30, clocked into my next job at 10:30, and worked through till 5:30 at night. So I was up for quite a long time, and but that's just how it goes. Right around this time, things start to get rip-roaring and ready to go with packages, and people want, you know, certain things done at a certain pace and time. It's a crazy point in the year for me. And that's also the reason why you guys haven't heard from me, is because I've just been super busy. So, but let's restart from the point where I had decided to make my feelings known to someone. Everything just fell apart, one problem right after the other, and that was basically the icing on the cake, to where I didn't get what I wanted. And I also put myself out there for the umpteenth time. And it was just a big mistake. Thinking that I had something to offer that she didn't want. Clearly. And that happens, and you lose friendships. You lose relationships. Even if it was something that you were hoping to keep. Sometimes it just doesn't go that way. And that's okay. It's okay to fail. We've talked about that on this show 1,000 times over the last 4 years, and coming up on the anniversary, I can't wait to get Sammy on here and hopefully chat with him. And for 5 years we've been doing this show consistently, somewhat, to some degree. But being disappointed it's rough. Depression is rough. Getting inside your own head to where you feel like you can't function is awful. And it's a feeling that no one wishes upon anyone, hopefully, to the point where they just break in half. Their heart breaks in half, and it's like, to try to put that back together is a task. So if you're feeling that way, just know that you're not alone. And if you have friends, lean on them. Because I'll tell you what, there are certain people that I chose to tell about this, and now I'm telling you guys because I feel comfortable. A lot of times I harbor feelings, I hold stuff in, which is shocking because the amount of things that I choose to say in public and to people I care about is crazy. I'm hoping that through time, I know that it's possible through time that I'll be able to get through this. I'm hoping through time that I'm able to use this as a learning moment. A learning moment where I can just get things right out of the way. Getting clarity on moments is so important, understanding things. I remember I was telling a friend of mine, Jake Lugi's been on this podcast a lot. I told him, and he agrees, that learning as an adult is much more appetizing to me now than it's ever been. When I was a kid, I didn't want to learn nothing. To a degree, that's what's made me. But I enjoy learning things now. I enjoy learning about who I am and what I want, and, how I can function better in this world. Nothing worse than not knowing who you are and not knowing what you want, and, making mistakes constantly and never being able to figure things out is a hole that some people find themselves in. So anyway, coming home and after taking such a big blow is jarring. That plane ride home is, you're in your head constantly. I came home, I wasn't sleeping. Thank goodness I was on vacation from my job, so I was able to eventually get some sleep. But what really threw the whole thing for a loop was somebody else that was involved tried to tell me, had the audacity to tell me, really, and the gall that I should hold my feelings in and that I should not share with the person that I cared about what I needed to say. If there's anyone out there that is trying to save somebody else's feelings and be selfish for that other person, you need to take a hard look in the mirror and really ask yourself if that's what you want to be. Is putting somebody else's emotions over the agony that I was going through. And if you can't understand that, then you're not a person. You're not understanding. You only care about you. You only care about, you really don't care. You really don't care how that other person is feeling or what they might be going through or the history of, what mental illness has done to others, what depression has done to others. And if you are listening to this and this is you, you need to seriously consider the damage that you have caused. The damage and the knowledge that that person is not okay anymore. That person doesn't want to hear your opinion anymore. You have hurt them. And you've hurt them to a degree that they've never experienced before. When someone tries to tell me that I need to suppress my emotions to save somebody else who's already happy, you have ruined what could have sustained as a friendship. You have ruined what could have been a healing moment. You've made it worse. You've made the situation that I was already going through worse. And I hope that you hear this, and I hope that you change. Because if you continue on that path of selfishness, then you're never going to find love yourself. So, that's sort of what happened on my last trip down to Florida. I don't even want to go to Florida anymore because of it. But, I know eventually I will for shows and whatnot because the people need that. No, they don't. Anyway. Since then, coming home and, pondering things from time to time, like I thought about her the other day, just popped up. And, I never thought that I would be able to think about it without, either tearing up or, trying to get it out of my brain. It's a constant. It's a constant wall of emotions that you can never hope to understand unless you've gone through it. So, I think probably within the next few months I'll be able to get it out of my system. The other chapter that is, I have tried to discover more positive points in my life. I've tried to really focus on what I have as opposed to what I do not have, which I think is good for everybody. I think it's good to really take into account your blessings. I got a roof over my head. I got 2 really good part-time jobs. I got the best friends in the whole world. And I also have some new music. It's crazy. Skeptical Punk, I thought, was going to be the end of that sort of writing chapter for a while, but I still am writing for myself and me and the guys, the original members, man. Soda. Me, Corey, and George, we got together about a week ago on Sunday. Yeah, it was a week ago. Was it? No, it was 2 weeks ago, Sunday. And we're just going over things, and we jammed and we talked and started writing some things, and we'll see. We wanted it. The reason being is because we wanted to get new footage for the documentary to sort of throw in, just kind of closing out the chapter of the doc, which I know you guys have been wondering why I'm still talking about this after years at this point. But again, Cal has a life, I have a life. We're trying to really record the last few things. So to get scheduling together is tough, especially around this time of year. We want to go back to Rutland and do some more filming there, and really just keep it honest with you guys, because there's no time limit. That's a good topic to talk about. It's like if you're a person, and I was this person too, so it's the only reason I'm talking about it is because I've been the person to really think that my time was running out. That song For a Time off Skeptical Punk speaks specifically to that, which is, your mind is so full of information, whether it's school or work or relationships or, addiction or, or reading or, whatever it is that is filling your mind, it gets to be too much to the point where you think that it's going to all come to an end rather quickly, which is what I was going through from the ages of 19 to 22. I didn't think that things are going to last. Sometimes I still don't. But now, being a 29-year-old man, I look forward to things more. I look forward to learning new things. I look forward to writing. I've been writing so much lately, guys. It's been nuts. My notebook is just coming. It's full of new songs and new stuffs and thoughts. And, I like writing for a lot of reasons. It's a good healing moment for me. It's like I tell everybody all the time on this podcast, if you can, get a notebook, start jotting some of these thoughts down, because I'm telling you, it'll help. It will help, and it's very cathartic. Something I need to work on is when I get closure like this, even though it's bad closure, or I shouldn't even say bad closure, even if it's something that is disappointing, I need to start writing my thoughts out. And my thoughts come out in song. A lot of people get journals to write poetry or just to get through their years of youth. And it can be challenging to really put those things in line. I was really hoping that my journey would take me elsewhere. I was really hoping that I could start over. And not start over for any bad reason or any bad purpose, but start over in the sense that I was ready to. I was ready to be a significant other. Committing is very tough for somebody like me who is not good with change. And consistency of, a routine is something that I've always thrived off of, because it's what's comfortable. And to get out of your comfort zone with that, by that being said, is something that was going to be a milestone for me. I was ready to get out of my regular pattern. Not that my pattern was bad or is bad. You know, I'm still me. It's just different. You need different challenges in your life to learn. I know I do. Skeptical Punk was a challenge, but it was a fun challenge. It was different than anything I'd ever written before. And I like that part of myself now. I did not like that part of myself when I was a teenager. I thought it was the most lame thing you could ever bring to my attention. I never wanted to change. I always wanted things to stay the same as far as what life was doing at that point in time. I had a lot of fun. I could tell you I had a really crappy childhood and things were bad and a lot of stuff was, but I could also tell you that I had a blast. I had such a blast being a kid. I still feel like I'm a kid to this day. Just as a side point, I want to shout out my friend Ellen. She knitted me this hat out of her kindness, and she sent it to me in the mail. And she was a good friend of my Grammy's, and I just want to give her a shout out for being always kind and sweet and coming to my shows and supporting me and my music. Thank you, Ellen, from Marlboro. And that leads into the next point, which is what I've also been working on. Me and Jake Luigi, we went to Exmoor, Virginia to move our friend Edwin up to Germantown, Maryland with his wife. And it was a blast, man. It really was. It was a short trip, but you know, if you have the time to help your friends, then definitely take advantage of that because you won't miss out on those memories. They'll be there for the rest of your life. That was great. It was a good distraction from things that have been happening with me lately. I have trips planned. You know, in May, I'm going to be going to the Outer Banks with one of my best friends, Mr. James Gibo, who has graced this podcast before. I'm hoping someday that he can come back on. He's visiting me right now, so I get to hang out with him, but I got a moment alone, so I wanted to come chat with you guys. And it's amazing to me that how much talking can really ease your mind when you are going through a problem. Like your friends being your sounding board, even though they may not be able to help all the time, it's just great that they're there to listen. You know, we've lost that as a species. We don't listen to each other anymore. We're always just interested in getting angry and yelling and, you know, getting our point across, even though it's not really needed sometimes. You know, we forget what it is to be human, which is making mistakes and learning from them and talking about them and learning from them. I learned a lot through this experience of really to not hold back so many times. You know, for years I've wasted time, you know, longing for a relationship. At this point, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to go looking for something that is going to find you eventually. Maybe not for me, but for a lot of people. A lot of my friends are getting married right now, which is great. I'm happy for them. If it's what they want, awesome. And if it works, even better. Plus, going to weddings rule. Like, if you guys have... if you've ever been to a wedding and it's fun, you remember that for the rest of your life. I've been to a ton of them. I've been in a lot of them, and it's a great experience. And it's a happy moment, you know. a lot of moments aren't that great. You know, I had to go to a service this weekend, which was kind of tough for a friend of mine. And that was a rough one. Celebrating life when somebody dies is tough to do. But you still find clarity in those moments. You still find some great memories to continue to celebrate. Other than that, I think the one thing I'm looking forward to is just getting some rest. Trying to find sleep at this point in time is very, very tough. But when I can, I do it. I'm about to reach my 10-year anniversary at UPS is coming up in January. It'll be my 10th year of working there, which is amazing. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it has. And I probably will do an anniversary podcast for that or whatever, but we're gonna get Sammy on here too to celebrate this podcast, which is great. And the ones who still listen, thank you so much. I appreciate the listenership and the patience. It's tough because life gets so busy that we don't have time for other people sometimes. Families are important and that takes precedence. But if you do get the chance to keep listening to this show, much obliged. I really appreciate it. You guys absolutely rule. As far as the future goes, I don't really know what it holds. I don't know what it holds for me. I don't know what it holds for anyone, really. I mean, I'm hoping that I can sort of just self-sustain until I build myself back up. Being down for months at a time, it weighs on you. And it weighs on your friends that worry about you, your family, they worry about you. I think that time really is the healer. Time really puts things in perspective for you. It makes you feel like, there's still some glimmer of hope to get over whatever hump that you're on. Like getting together with the guys to play music again, just like the old days. Boy, did that boost me up. It was amazing. It was amazing, guys. Honestly, it didn't feel like any time had passed. We picked up right where we left off. And the reason being is because we're all still friends. Even after the band broke up the first time, or not break up, I mean, even after we had some people leave, and before Sully and I continued, I still love those guys to this day, regardless of anything that happens. And, you have to take the good with the bad, which was, are these guys leaving? Yeah, it sucks. Do I still love them and want to hang out with them? Absolutely. And we did, and we never lost contact. And when we finally did get it back together, playing in that basement for the first time in years, it was better than it ever was. It was better than it ever was. It's because we're all seasoned. First of all, now we've all been playing music. Corey's an absolute genius when it comes to building guitars and his craft, and George has obviously been playing in Lost in Transit for many years now. And me, I never left. I never left music, and because it never left me. And so I think if you still have a passion for something in 2024, that's great. Keep it going. If you still have a passion and a lust for a hobby, that's amazing. Because I think a lot of people get bored after doing the same thing for a long, long time. Me, I don't have that button when it comes to music. But I'm into a lot of other things too. I like learning about history. Jake and I went to Gettysburg coming back from Germantown, Maryland, and it was, boy, is that a trip going through that town. It is an old town, but it's very cool. It's a lot of history. And if you get the chance to travel and check it out, it's wild to see. It's wild. But as far as new projects go, I haven't really got anything in the works other than just the documentary. I mean, we're going to see if Soda can get going again. I would love to get those guys in the studio and just do like a little EP, just to say that we did it. We came back and had something cool. And I'm hoping that we can start working on future projects. We'll see. It's all up to them and their schedules and my schedule. And I don't want to take away from anything from Lost in Transit or from CRC Customs. So we'll all sort of just work around that. And it'll be when anybody has time, which is perfect for me because I'm not going anywhere. I'm sticking around, obviously. That also was kind of a worry. I worried that if I moved and I picked up my life and started all over again, that I wouldn't be me anymore. And not that I would be scared to change or adapt as a significant other, but just scared that I would lose my way when it comes to who I've become. I would not want to change any positive thing that I have gained since becoming a man, I suppose, if that's what you want to call it. But I look forward to taking whatever negativity that had just happened and using it as fuel to be a better man. I've played a few shows since then, and I want to thank Granite Roots for always having me. Oliver, the owner, he's a sweetheart of a guy. I get treated so well there. I'm looking forward to doing shows there soon, and if I do, I'll let you guys know, hopefully via the next podcast. And again, I'm sorry that it took so long to put an episode out. But things and events have happened and that are just out of my control. I don't want anybody to worry. It's going to take some time to get over things, but it always does. And if you are going through something similar, you'll be a better person for it at the end. Because knowledge is power. And to know what you want and to avoid things and situations like that after they happen for future moments, then it's wise to heed that counsel. It's like the Rolling Stones said, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. And that, my friends, is the conclusion of another episode of the YRU Laughing podcast. Thank you guys for rocking out with me, always. I got no dates coming up, but go check out Skeptical Punk if you haven't. It's on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. It's on everything. So, and thank you, YouTube, for helping me put out another episode. This has been a YRU Laughing podcast, and we are clear.